The sound of another knock at our door woke me up from my short nap. The clock read 8:17, still another hour before they would all go home. I stood up and stretched, and then another knock came at our door. "Are you going to get that?" My wife groaned across from the room. "Yes, yes." I started to walk, but the pins in my needles on my right leg almost stopped me. I opened the door to see it was standing there unblinking. "Trick or treat!" This one was wearing a scream mask, and he was covered in black clothes. I popped 2 chocolate bars into his large pumpkin-shaped basket, and he said, "Thanks," and walked away. I closed the door and sat back down on the couch, hoping to maybe get some more shut-eye. Then came yet another knock. I got up quickly, grabbed 2 more bars of chocolate from our bucket, and headed for the door. There was 2 of them this time. 2 girls, one dressed as a princess and the other as a fairy. Typical girls for their age. I dropped 1 candy bar each into their basket. They were about to say thank you, but I closed the door. I'll have more time to relax. Too bad if they think I'm rude. I began to relax again, but instead of napping, I thought about the day when Anne and I would have a kid. We would have to send him up to random strangers' front doors. Then they would just give him candy. Then I heard another knock. I was even too relaxed to even care this time. Let's convince them we're not home. Maybe they'll go away. When they knocked again, I heard Anne groan loudly and woke up, and she started for the door. "Honey, I can—" She stopped me mid-sentence before the simple "shut up," and continued walking. I heard the door and the sound of the candies being dropped in the baskets, then talking. This one was a little girl, and after a few seconds I heard Anne said, "Aw, poor baby." The girl clearly said, "Can I come in?" My wife responded with, "Sure, I think we have some few bandages." I sat up, and the children, there was a boy following the girl, had come this far in our boot rack. The girl had a green witch mask on, and the boy had a zombie mask. They had no costume except for masks, just plain clothes. My wife returned with the bandages, and the girl held her wrist out, and Anne wrapped the bandages around the young girl's small cut. The girl proceeded to slip off her mask and glare at me. "Nice contacts," was all I managed to say. Her eyes were black as night, and her skin was oddly paled white. She just grinned at me. I then realized something felt off, very off. "Honey, can I talk to you quickly in private?" She gave me an odd look, but still said, "Sure." We walked into the kitchen and stood in front of the oven, where they could not hear us. Something's not right here. I decided to say first what came to my mind. "What?" Now she looked at me even more oddly. No response came to my mind. She just said, "You say that every time Dolores gives me cookies or a loaf of bread. Stop being paranoid." She then walked off when I heard her gasp, as I slowly walked to see 2 masks and 2 buckets at the place of 2 children. The buckets had only 2 pieces of candy each. The candy we gave them. Strange, I didn't hear them leave. Maybe they didn't leave. She gave me that look again. Maybe they're in here somewhere, planning to steal something. "Yeah, right, we don't have anything worth." We both heard it. A scratching sound in the back room, and we heard each other and began to walk down each hallway. Even thought I knew they were just children, but I had a very odd feeling about them. Probably the eyes. As we neared the doorway to the bedroom, a loud growling sound came from inside the doorway. It was like a dog's growl, only deeper. "Honey, did you hear that?" Silence. "Honey?" I said. As I turned around, I was alone. In the place of where my wife was only darkness. A chill ran down my spine, but I continued walking. I mustered up as much courage as I could, jumped inside and turned on the light. The boy was there. He was clawing at the spot in the middle of the room, as if I was looking for something. He looked up and smiled. His mouth was full of sharp, pointed teeth. His eyes were black as the girl's. I began to back up. "What the Honey?" A familiar voice came from behind me. I turned around and Anne was standing there. She grabbed the sides of my face and stared into my eyes. "It will all be over soon," she said sweetly, as my face started to feel odd. Then I had noticed something about her eyes. They were black as night, too. Slowly, everything began to fade away into nothing. The police came to Daniel and Ann's house at 1:08 a.m. that night after their neighbor, Dolores Bridge, heard screaming coming from within the house. All that found was deemed suspicious were masks, baskets, and a hole in the middle of the bedroom floor, which had been skeletons of 2 small children at the bottom of it, and 1 silver cross. The skeletons were found in the position suggested that they were killed of some sort of ritual. After some research, police found that the neighbor, Dolores, had 2 children, and they had gone missing 17 years ago.